What is your high score? I'm Tanvi, and I'm a ballerina. And in today's talk, I won't be talking about the benefits of ballet, or that you should take a ballet class, or that only ballet helps you find your self-love. Because everyone in this very room has their own way of finding themselves and accepting themselves through something that they love to do. Ballet is my example. So for today's talk, I'm going to be sharing my story of rediscovery and how I learned to accept myself through ballet. It's the natural human tendency for people to copy other people, even if it's the habits that we wish to cultivate within ourselves from people that we absolutely adore. We've forgotten to be ourselves when we face the real world, the real society. People have become self-conscious, and so to save themselves from demeaning comments and pointless norms, what do? We put on a mask and display ourselves as someone who we're really not. We've all done this at least once in our lives. I'm guilty. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a ballerina, and I've been doing ballet for the past 13 years of my life. I started ballet when I was 3 years old, and I continued to do ballet for the next 9 years in South Korea, doing Vaganova. And then I moved to New Zealand, and then I continued to do RAD, the Royal Academy of Dance, for the next year and a half. And ever since 2018, I've been doing ISTD with the Lewis Foundation of Classical Ballet in Bangalore. I've been, and you've been, all in an environment at some point in our lives where we've been taught discipline or been told to do the right thing. But what is right? Who defines right for us? We do. We can do this starting from today, this minute, and second. Let me tell you, ballet is a competitive world where everyone strives to be the prima ballerina, performing in front of thousands and hundreds of people. We have two sides. You, the audience, sees only one. We dancers make it look so easy on stage just so that everyone enjoys what they see. What you don't see, though, is the side of struggle, pain, blisters, and tears. Now, before my rediscovery, I never really knew what self-love was. What did it mean to love yourself? How was I ever going to be satisfied with myself emotionally and physically when I was doing ballet? Ballet for me was always about the aesthetics. When I was little, I would always try and keep my toes completely turned out just to prove that I had 180-degree turnout. But as much as the aesthetics of ballet was important, I never really realized that my health was equally important. And because of this misunderstanding, what did this lead to? Injuries. Long story short, a day before the big national competition that was held in South Korea, in Seoul, the Grand Prix, I was overstretching against the studio wall, and I attempted to close my legs and snap. I didn't realize what it actually was until I went to the doctor to later find out that actually I had torn the ligament in my hip. Now, what do you guys think I did the next day? I competed. For those who actually thought I'd actually not compete, that's a nice joke, I'd rather not lose my head. Now, for the past 2 to 5 minutes-ish, people might be thinking that I'm complaining about how hard ballet is. But it's this hard work, it's this struggle, it's the pain throughout this entire process that got me to where I am today as a ballet nationalist in Korea, a striving model, and to be part of the National Youth Ballet Company in India. Until a few years ago, I was never comfortable in my own skin. I never really took the time to go up to the mirror and tell myself, "You look amazing, you're you, be great." After every competition, my parents would record a video of me, and I would never watch it. Because I always had that mindset that someone was always there for me to judge me, aka the judges. Now, don't get me wrong, the judges are supposed to judge me. They're supposed to evaluate me. They're supposed to score me. But not only did I let the judges judge me, I let everyone else around me judge me too. I let these judgments really define who I am, who I was as a person. Now, we can't stop people from judging us because they'll always evaluate you. They'll always score you. But what you can do, though, is turn it the other way around and choose not to hear those harsh judgments and just continue to be yourself. I moved to Bangalore in 2018, and I joined the TLFCB, the Lewis Foundation of Classical Ballet. And 2019 was coming around the corner, and it was time for a new show. I remember everyone working so hard to get a good role, and so was I. After hours of effort, the lead roles were finally announced, and I was blessed to be given the role of Aurora and to be able to dance the pas de deux with my partner. I was so happy. That was the best day of my life. Finally, 2 weeks before the show, I was sick, right here at school. I returned home, I even went to the hospital, and I even got admitted. It turns out that I had dengue. The joke actually still goes around, though, that Aurora was pricked by the mosquito even before she was pricked by the needle. During the whole rehab phase, I was in the studio, and I learned many important lessons during that period. I was watching Svetlana Zakharova on my phone performing the vision variation that I was supposed to be performing. And my teacher comes up to me, Yana, and she tells me, "Get off of your phone. It's not going to help you. Tanvi is Princess Aurora, and Svetlana is not Tanvi. You need to be yourself and work harder for it." I learned a very, very important lesson that day, that I didn't have to be or copy someone else in order for others to appreciate me. It's what I give to the audience that matters. And I remember for the first time in my life during that show, I didn't compete. I danced. As much as I love competitions, during the show, I felt relaxed and I felt like I was actually myself. It shouldn't affect me whether I come first, second, or third in comparison to others. What's important is that I question myself. Did I really do well? Do I feel satisfied with the way I did the previous time I performed? Did I do my personal best? The majority of us here have played a video game, or at least once in our lives. Who here has ever played Subway Surfers? Great. Now, usually after a very long game, we see this classic pop-up on the screen, new high score. If we don't see it, we try again and again and again in order to beat our previous score. I'm not here to tell you that how to play Subway Surfers, but I'm here to tell you that life is also a game. It's not a game where you're competing with others. It's a game where you're competing with yourself. I don't disagree to the fact that sometimes you're just not recognized when you're not at the top. But we're not born naturals. We're not born stars. We're individuals born to society to work hard, persevere, and improve every single day. When we place a line on top of someone, we limit ourselves. We limit our potential. Trust me, the feeling of I did so well, I personally improved, and I did amazing is a much, much better feeling than I did better than that person, because it's sometimes so hard to please ourselves. If there's anything that you guys can walk away with today from today's talk, it is stop being so self-conscious of yourself, because you are you, and you are enough. Stop taking those harsh judgments and demeaning comments to heart and use that as an excuse to try and amend yourself in order for others to appreciate you. If you love to do something, do it. find all the reasons of why you should continue what you love to do, and stop trying to find the reasons and try to dig deeper for the reasons why you shouldn't continue what you love to do. From firsthand experience, I can tell you that the process, the entire thing is difficult, it's grueling, it's hard. But once you learn to overcome this personal barrier and conflict within yourselves, you'll finally be able to love yourselves even more. And you'll finally be on your way to achieving your new personal high score. Thank you.